Hello, Sociology 311. My name is Sophia Foles, and I will be introducing my group and I's research question. So basically, we decided to investigate how young adults in Eugene, Oregon, how their gender identity and their sexuality influence their ideas and understanding surrounding masculinity and femininity, and how these things are played out in a social context, so in a group, through nonverbal forms of communication and actions. So, yeah, enjoy our findings.
Hi, my name's Kaya, and I'll be discussing our methodology for our research. We decided to make an online survey which included a few 5-point Likert scales, multiple choice questions, and a few open response questions where people could respond in their own words about different aspects relating to our topic, like social acceptance, masculinity, gender performance, or whatever came to mind for them that they wanted to expand on. We also made sure to keep everyone's submissions anonymous and skippable because we wanted to keep in mind that topics like gender and sexuality can be sensitive topics for people to discuss and share with others. Everyone in our group sent out the survey to our different friends and social circles, so most of the submissions were from young adults in college in our local Eugene and Oregon area.
Hi everyone, my name is Kira Maddox and I'm a part of the group Iota. Today I will be discussing our findings. This term, our group focused on gender in regards to gender presentation and internal feelings of gender identity. We received over 100 submissions, the majority being female identifying people at 66%, followed by male identifying individuals at 27%. The rest of our submissions consisted of non-binary, transgender, and gender fluid people. While assessing our data, we found that straight, bisexual, and pansexual female-identifying people were more likely to rate themselves higher in femininity and lower in masculinity. They were also more likely to engage in feminine activities, such as shaving their legs, wearing makeup, and jewelry, and wore more feminine-regarded clothing, such as dresses and skirts. We got a couple submissions that identified as lesbian and tended to rate themselves higher in masculinity, but also rated themselves high in femininity. These individuals were also more likely to engage in masculine activities and wear more masculine clothes than their straight, bisexual, and pansexual counterparts. While assessing our male population, we found that the majority identified as straight, and rated themselves higher in masculinity than femininity. They were also more likely to engage in masculine activities and wear masculine attire. There were very few submissions who participated in feminine attire, in contrast to our female identifying population, who had a bit more fluidity in that regard. While assessing our transgender, gender fluid, and non-binary population, I found this to be the most interesting because trying to find the best way to say this, they were more likely to explore their gender in regards to they wore both feminine and masculine clothing, participated in masculine and feminine activities, and overall tended to rate themselves high in both categories. They were also more likely to consciously speak in a tone that was higher or lower than their resting pitch. While assessing our open-ended write-in questions, we wanted to look at what influences contributed to people's notions of gender roles in society, and found that the results were similar across the board in that the majority of people disclosed that it was peers, family members, and media that influenced how they understood gender in society. Overall, we found that most people felt they were generally accepted in social spaces, or at least felt that it felt comfortable in certain situations. But those who tended to say that they felt excluded in society were our transgender, gender fluid, and non-binary populations.
Hi, I'm Ruby, and I'm going to be talking about the limitations of our data. We did run into a few limitations with our research, but this was a given because it was exploratory research. But one of the big limitations that we ran into was the fact that we are in the middle of a pandemic, and this affected how we collected our data. We originally planned on having a more hands-on qualitative approach to our collection of data, but we as a group decided that surveys would probably be easier to distribute during a pandemic. With that, we also found another limitation, which was the fact that because our group is female identifying individuals, we got a lot of data back from female identifying individuals. So we didn't get a lot of varying data, which was a limitation and made it harder to generalize our data. With that, the location of where we did our research was also a limitation. A lot of people in Eugene have a more liberal political view, and therefore their idea of gender performance is different than people who have more of a conservative political view. So if we were to do this in a red city or a red state, we definitely would have gotten varying data back. But those are the limitations that we faced while doing this research.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and I'm going to be talking about advice for future researchers within our research question. My group collected data from students here at the University of Oregon, which was a choice that we made because it kept us within the realm of the data that we were collecting. My advice for future researchers would be to take a bigger sample size of different populations of colleges to help make the findings more universal than just the students here at Oregon. By doing this, it would help us learn more about the cultures of other colleges and how students express themselves in different populations. This would also help the data grow in numbers, but also diversity with more accurate findings. Our methodology that we used was a survey, and we did want to take a more hands-on approach, but we thought this was the safest option because of the pandemic. And since that was a limitation, in the future, researchers could observe others around them over a certain time frame to see their physical behavior and how they express themselves in their everyday lives. I believe by doing this and the survey, it would help the data be more inclusive, which would benefit what we are analyzing in the long run.